G'day guys, welcome back to another Four Driver Mates video. Thanks for joining us today. We hope with this video we can share some tips and advice to keep you or your loved ones safe out on the tracks. It's all about helping people and about getting the right messages out there to try and keep people safe and enjoy their time exploring this beautiful country we have here that we're lucky enough to call our backyard. So watch the video. If you've got anything to add to it, please comment below and let us know what you think of it. And what's your top tips for remote travelling in Australia? Love to know.
G'day guys. One of the important things to know about when you're coming in the Outback is about being prepared. And it's much more than having a charger for your mobile phone. Come out here, you need to be self-sufficient, guys. Righto folks, we're out here, Coopiti. We're just heading out to the breakaways. We've seen this sign as you're heading out of Coopiti, which is great for people heading north, going up towards the desert, up to Unadada, maybe Mount Dare and across the Simpson, etc. Haven't seen many of these signs. It'd be good if we've seen more out here, because I noticed a lot of people running out of fuel, not having enough water. They didn't know about these kind of conditions, thought they would have had phone reception. That tells me two things. One, they didn't do their research properly. Two, there's probably not enough of these kind of signs right in their face. And the problem is, a lot of the guys we chatted to that have had these issues come here, think, oh yeah, there's a road there, plenty of people around. If I get stuck, someone would surely help me. Well, sometimes someone mightn't help you, and all the other times, probably just nobody around. You don't realise how big the Australian outback is until you're in it. You are like a speck. There's no phone coverage in majority of places. You'd be lucky to get phone coverage at some of the towns, and I mean just some. And some only have certain networks, etc. as well. So, do your research, get prepared. UHFs can be handy out here, especially if you get on the repeater channels. You've got half a chance of getting to someone. But a lot of places you'll have nothing unless you've got a sat phone. Well, not everyone can afford a sat phone, but maybe you want to hire one. G'day folks, well we're out here, Lone Gum Tree, out on the Rig Road, out in the Simpson Desert. Having a beautiful time so far. Centre Trek 2016. Just want to have a quick chat to you. You're coming out here, don't be silly, don't be stingy, be prepared, spend a couple of bucks at either buy if you want or just do as we did. You can hire a sat phone. When you're crossing out here, you can hire it from Birdsville or Mount Dare and drop it off your finishing end of the journey across the Simpson. They're pretty cheap, $20 deposit with your credit card once you're there, and minimum 4-day hire, $40 a day. So we're doing $160 minimum, then $40 for any day after that. And they're simple to use. Just one of these fellas here, hold the button in for a few seconds. They turn it to pull the aerials out. You can if you're really gentle, I found. And full service ready at Lone Gum, and we're good to go. Make a call, dial the area code, and you can get help if you need it. Because UHF and your fanciest of smartphones won't cut it out here. Also, full list of numbers in there if you may need to call the police or any of the hotels. Maybe you just want to book a room too, or order a Palmer for when you roll up to Birdsville or Mount Dare. Is an EPIRB. EPIRB's just a little device that you can set off when you're registered online, and you put all your details in, your vehicle, your name and all that kind of stuff. You can even now add trip information if you wish of where you're going to be going, so they can help narrow it down even better. Maybe if there's something that goes faulty with your EPIRB, they can have a look at your trip itinerary, whatever you've entered in the comments section online. So all that information, the website, etc. comes with your EPIRB and how to register it. Now make sure you get one that's GPS, I think it's activated, or however they trace you on it. Get a GPS version. Probably costs you $50, $100 more than the other one. But the basic old school one, I think, gives you a radius maybe about 5Ks of where you are. 5Ks could mean it's 5 months before they find you. Get yourself a GPS one. I think it's accurate to within 50 metres. So that's very important, because if you take a second to think about that, you only activate an EPIRB if it's a life and death situation. And if it's a life and death situation, I don't want them taking 5 months to find me. I don't think it'd be hard anyway, but that's not the point. Is do your research and work out what you need to take for the area. Doesn't hurt to have a bit of extra tucker, bit of extra water in case you break down, and you get stuck out here, sometimes it can be days, maybe weeks if you're on real remote roads, before anyone would come across you. A few of the basics, guys. Come out with your four-wheel drive, make sure it's well serviced, carry spares. Now when I say spares, I don't mean a spare gearbox. Unless you want to, you can. It's always good. Make sure everything's all tip-top before you go, but carry fan belts, bit of radiator hoses, heater hose, etc. Fluids, you never know if you're going to get a bit of a leaky seal, axle seal, you might need some gear oil, brake fluid, clutch fluid, engine oil, etc, etc. Obviously coolant, plenty of water for your engine, but also for yourself. Spare globes, whatever you may want to carry a spare aerial. Whatever you do, let people know where you're going and where you estimate to be, sort of, you know, as a bit of a reference point along your trip, so they can set the alarm off if you don't show up. You know, if you say you're going to be at Birdsville by the end of the week and 2 weeks later you're still not there and no one's heard from you, they can send out someone. G'day guys, well we're at Inaminka. We're about to head off up to Birdsville, and as of every morning and some evenings, if I remember, I have a quick look over the vehicle. Doing any sort of full drive and you want to give a morning check at least, you know, especially on these Outback trips, because if you break down when you're away from any sort of civilization, you could be there for quite a while. So just go over your vehicle, familiarise yourself with everything, even if you don't know much about cars. If you get familiar with what your engine bay looks like normally, where all the hoses are and your belts and all the wiring and that, where everything sort of sits, you'll know if something looks out of place. So you haven't got to be a whiz-bang mechanic. I'm not a mechanic by any means. But just have a look around and keep an eye on stuff. Doing these kind of roads, a lot of corrugation, which means a lot of vibration. So check for stuff that's rubbing through maybe. Check all your hoses, wiring, where everything's sitting. Just have a look. If anything looks like it's touching, have a feel. If it's getting a bit of a flat spot, it means it's been rubbing there probably on the hose or whatever. So if you've got another bit of hose, just double skin that over, put a bit of electrical tape around it, zip tie it out of the way, whatever it may be. Check for your oil leaks, check your air filter every day. If you can, give it a blowout, get the compressor and do it. And just check all your fluids, make sure everything's nice secure, your batteries, all your stuff, you know, and all your hose. Give everything a bit of a pull and a touch there, and you should be right. And go around and check your tyre pressures each day. And remember, tyre pressures, there's a big difference between a cold pressure and a hot pressure. You're coming out here, you could be travelling alone, you could be just one car, like this car. Or you could be in a convoy. I didn't know about him coming, that's kind of awkward. But what you got to do is do the right thing. So we'll do that again. So what you need to do is, here comes another bloody car. I tell you what, this bloody road here, if you broke down out here, you're probably not going to be stranded. Were you filming that?
Yeah.
Oh, you won't be, because look at me bloody full drives that come past. This sign's a load of shit. You're probably fine. Just come out here in your Commodore, leave all your food and water at home, and she'll be apples, copper. Hooroo.